Hello, Science and Magic YouTube channel. My name is Amanda Levesque, and I'm so happy to have you here. Today is a big day for me because I just hit 1,000 subscribers, and I know to some that might be like a little baby step, but it feels like a really big milestone for me. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for being here and for sharing my channel and sharing my videos and sharing this content with others who would resonate. My message is primarily about understanding the nervous system so that we can avoid burnout and enhance vitality. And as we understand the nervous system, we dive deeper into the body, and inherently the body holds feminine energy. So this channel talks about all things nervous system, avoiding burnout, working with adrenal fatigue, working deliciously, animating feminine energy. And my approach is really from the lens of science. I have a background in neuroscience. I also have studied the human body in various forms throughout the past decade, as well as magic. Bringing in these things that we don't know or we can't logically calculate, things like spirituality or earth-centered rituals or just intrigue and awe. So I just want to thank you so much. And if you're watching this video, if you could give it a like right away. If you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to subscribe for any of that content. If that resonates with you, continue to take the journey with me. For this particular video, I wanted to dive into the topic of surrender, of letting go. This is a topic that I often hear explored or referred to in reference to animating feminine energy. I looked up the definition of surrender, and it is definition one, relinquish possession or control of something to another. Maybe some of you already are like, oh, I have a hard time releasing control on life. So we're going to talk about that. Definition two, to give up in favor of another, especially voluntarily. And definition three is to give up or abandon. So this definition of to give up, it might sound or appear cowardly. But I want to dive into a different approach of what that could also mean in relationship to various contexts. So this exploration of surrender and the essence of it will tie in a little bit of energy, a little bit of behavior, and a little bit of nervous system education. We can think of surrendering to something, or we can think of the embodiment of surrender, meaning, am I surrendering to this moment? What does surrender feel like? Am I feeling that in this moment? Is my body holding the energy of surrender? And if not, why? Is there a block? Is there a limiting belief around it? Energetically, surrender is a very feminine quality. And when I say this, I'm not referring to a particular gender or sex in a binary way. I'm referring to an energy that can be inhabited to some capacity in every single body. And if you want to know more about how I use the terms masculine and feminine energy, I'll link a video below that breaks down my use of those terms in an energetic way. In my opinion, in regards to surrender, the most important aspect is safety. If we don't feel safe in our body, in our environment, in our psyche, and our emotions, we won't be able to surrender. End of story. There are many reasons why the nervous system wouldn't feel safe. The first thing to consider is the energy that you are letting go to. And I know I described surrender as an embodiment, but often if we are in relationship with a person, with a dream, with the universe, there is a sense of I'm letting go so that person, that dream, the universe can hold me. And this could be described as a masculine container. If surrender is softening, letting go, think of it as watery, fluid, formless in many ways. then that container that's holding that form, that fluidity, is the shape of that energy or flow. And the inquiry is, are you being held? Do the boundaries or the structure you are flowing in feel contained enough for you to hold some sort of form, even though the form of femininity is fluid? Is this container trustworthy? Does it have integrity? Does it have the tensegrity to show up for you as you gush into feminine fluidity? So as mentioned previously, this could be in reference to something on a more micro level, like a relationship or a work environment, or it could be on more of a macro scale about general beliefs of the universe. And in my opinion, our relationship with everything, with others, with our visions for our lives, with our desires, trickle down from our beliefs about the general universe, because the universe holds everything. So it might be helpful to do some reflection about your beliefs about how the world works. Is the world, in your belief system, maybe even in your experience, a safe place to exist? Do you trust on a deep level that you are provided and cared for? Is your sense of security and safety placed in the hands of a higher power, of divine guides, maybe ancestors, maybe if you're religious, God or religious deity? Or do you rely solely on your survival instincts? All of these things are going to play a role in your ability to feel safe and to feel held enough to let go and release. The second part of this is considering the feeling of safety in your own body. So not just what energy you are surrendering in context to, but what does it feel like to be in the body? And all of us to some degree hold some sort of trauma or nervous system activation. Depending on our childhood or upbringing or various life experiences, or even genetics inherited by our ancestral lineage, we may be holding some tension in our system, independently of how safe we actually are in our environment. Our body can believe we're not safe because we haven't let go of that trauma or that tension. Our memories and patterns, energetic, behavioral, are held in our bodies, and they're stored from situations that were beyond our ability to cope with in the moment that they were experienced. This is when our nervous system is chronically on high alert. It may manifest as the feeling of I can't relax, or my thoughts are racing, they just won't stop. It's because your body is preparing to face a threat around you that probably doesn't exist. And your brain is strategizing and spinning, and there's increased psychomotor speed to address cerebrally the threat that's at hand. That again, most likely isn't there at this moment. So if your muscles are always holding some degree of tension and your thoughts are always in strategy mode and the hormones of stress are constantly coursing through your body, you'll be on high alert. And it wouldn't make sense to surrender and let go and soften and lose that tension and slow your brain waves down if you were being chased by a wild animal in the woods. So moving the physiology of your body out of a state of survival is absolutely essential to feeling like you can surrender. It's an inside out process. This is more where it's an embodiment. Can I soften? If not, does my body feel like there's a threat around? And I have a lot of videos about how to work with this energy and how to understand your nervous system. And it's actually what I really help my clients to do. There are many ways to do this. Of course, working with professionals in fields of somatic experiencing, of EMDR, or even a yoga therapist who's trained in trauma sensitivity can be profoundly helpful to move trauma or nervous system activation through the body, feeling safe and feeling like you have resource around you to pay attention and listen and process through those things. And like I said, to some degree, this is what I help my clients with as well. By offering nervous system education and embodiment techniques, they're able to create a more easeful baseline of being and existence in regards to their everyday life. And often my clients will work with a therapist alongside the programs that I offer. The third part of safety is considering your environment, the context by which you're being held, not necessarily the masculine container that you're in relationship with and surrendering to, but what actual physical environment are you in? It's kind of similar to trusting the masculine container, but it's more specifically related to external comfort and safety. So for example, what's your living situation? A basic example would be if you don't have a lock on your door, you probably aren't going to close your eyes and sleep as deeply because a part of you is going to be on alert if someone walks in that door. It's just how we're wired. It's how we have been able to survive as a species throughout time and have these genes passed down that we are on high alert when we need to be on high alert. There are all sorts of things that you can do in your external world to help your nervous system feel safer, especially if you're someone who's chronically stressed out. Something simple would be if you are in a room, if you are working, if you are resting, make sure that you're facing the door of that room, that you can see the door, that it's not behind your back. That subconsciously can just help you rest. If you have a hard time sleeping, weighted blankets can be an amazing way to feel contained and protected during the night. To some people, they feel claustrophobic, but to others, it feels like a really relaxing hug. Setting up your space that it is comfortable and beautiful and easeful, it can just do wonders to make you or allow you to breathe easier. For example, if you work from home or you're at home throughout the day, light candles, diffuse essential oils, have pillows and blankets and warm drinks around you. I mean, doesn't it just sound good to even think of that or visualize that? For me, super bright fluorescent lights put me on edge. They make my eyes squint. They give me a really narrow focus. They give me headaches. So I take great care to make sure that my lighting situation is such that I don't have to strain my eyes to just be and to exist. I have certain mood lighting that I use. I have a lot of natural light in my environment. I make sure that my screen has a certain software so it's not emitting, high frequency blue light. So what do you need to do to feel more comfortable and cared for in your physical environment? Maybe you could just think of a few things now. What would make you feel more held in your physical space? This can do wonders for evoking a feeling of softness and ease in your body. The next aspect of surrender is that it's a response. It's not just going limp. So this idea of giving up, not doing anything, laying there and taking it. That's not true. Animating feminine energy means that you are responsive. Surrender is not a passive thing. It actually has a great amount of life to it. You are responding to the container in which you are held in authenticity and with courage. You can think of this in terms of a waterfall. The water is surrendered to the form of the rocks that it is pouring over. It's flowing and spiraling within and through the shape that's created. But in that flow, there is a beautiful form and a ton of power and energy is generated. In fact, when you visually take in a waterfall, you are noticing the water itself, not necessarily the contours of the landscape surrounding it, meaning that the water has the life form. And so this is an interesting reflection of the response of what are you surrendering to? Is it giving you life? Is it giving you power? Is it making it so that you are seen in all of your beauty and life-giving vitality? In this context, the water is the feminine energy, and then it's generated by the masculine energy of the landscape. So in a sense, the water surrenders its form to the landscape, but it still has shape and power, and so much so that it captivates attention. I mean, imagine standing in front of a waterfall and how beautiful it is. And the inquiry here, would be, are you responding to the container or the shape in a way that you feel resonates with you? And if not, finding a different landscape to hold your fluid shape and form and help you emulate a way of being that is more in alignment with what you want to show in the world, with your true essence. Again, this could be a career, this could be a relationship, this could be a desire, this could be a living situation, the container that you are animating your feminine energy in response to. Another example of how feminine energy isn't just going limp is when considering partner dancing. So in most styles of partner dancing, there is a lead and there is a follow. And the lead represents the masculine energy of direction, leadership, taking initiative, and the follow represents the feminine energy of responding and moving and flowing. When I'm being danced, as I like to say in partner dance, I'm holding what I call a frame. And this is some sort of energy or structure in my upper body so that the lead can communicate with me. And without this frame, without this holding of my upper body is limp. And I can't hear the direction that's being offered to me. So as I hold my frame, I am surrendered. I'm twirled and I'm dipped and I'm moved across the dance floor in moment to moment shifting. I've let go of any will of ideas of what could happen, or I do my best. And instead, I respond to the direction that I'm being offered by my dance partner. It's truly a living experience. My dance partner dancing their energy through me and to me. And if I'm not present and awake and responsive and holding some sort of frame, the dance doesn't happen. In addition to holding the frame and responding and being present and having life in my body, I might add my own flavor to the moves themselves. So for example, as I'm being twirled, I might extend one of my arms out to the side. As I'm being dipped, I might choose to release my neck as I relax my head back. My unique way of dancing is still mine, and it's gonna look different than that of other follows. That's my style, that's my animation. That's my surrendered response to where I'm being led. I'm adding to wherever I'm being led. I'm letting that energy flow through me in its own unique way. And even though I'm surrendered to the direction of my lead, my feminine energy is surrendered to the masculine energy of the lead, there's a huge degree of participation to that surrender. There's that presence, there's animation, there's my unique flavor and style. And it is my lead's responsibility to dance me in a way that elevates my style. So is the container of your career helping you to emulate your unique flavor of life? Is the context of the relationship that you're in helping you to emulate the unique flavor of your body, of your energy? Those are more metaphorical analogies. But again, we are talking in terms of embodiment, energetic embodiment, and of how surrender shows up in the whole body on a moment-to-moment basis and not just in action. In terms of everyday life, you might ask yourself some of the following questions. How does the action of my partner make me feel? What is my visceral response to it? What does it feel like when that action flows through me? How am I open to that response without trying to control their actions? How am I authentic in the emotions that are generated as I surrender? Simply by honestly showing how the action affects your energy, you are dancing with that masculine energy. Your body stays open and surrendered, but you still respond authentically. You don't just go limp and become lifeless. You are a living response to the direction and energy of that container. If you were energetically just kind of limp, you wouldn't respond at all. You would just let everything be as it is. There'd be no form, and there would be no vessel for the energy of the masculine direction to move through and towards. So feminine energy's form is fluid but responsive. responding to the energies that are present with it. So the next aspect of surrender is this idea of letting go of control, which takes nervous system safety, as we explored in the beginning of this video. But you might have the imagery of a hand grasping something, trying to pull it or push it or hold it, keep it contained. Feminine energy would loosen the grip, soften the hand, not do anything with what you have in it. And whatever's in the hand, it could be a little bird that just flies away. It could stay on the hand. It could be something that drips off of the hand and falls to the floor. It could, maneuver off of the hand and swirl around your head. The idea is you soften the hand. Don't give it any direction. You don't throw the thing. You don't drop it. You don't grasp it. You just soften the hand and let it be. And I know that's really, really hard, especially when we're talking about desires or things we wish to happen or people we wish who would act a certain way. But by actively throwing that thing in the hand, you would be adding direction to it. You would be adding your will, which that's masculine energy. So that's a way of being in the world. But in this video, we're talking about the embodiment of surrender. Surrender means letting go of the need of something to move in a particular way. This is a person. This is your career. This is your living situation. And it's really hard to do that. It's letting it go and letting it move however it needs to. And staying soft in hand, in this analogy, and in body as that motion is observed. It takes a ton of trust to let go of control. Where and how the thing we are holding falls is up to its unique properties. That's not for us to decide. We can maneuver our body in relationship to that thing, but not trying to control it can be a really hard lesson. As feminine embodiment in this example, it's not up to us to control the direction that goes, whether it's tossed up into the sky or whether it's dropped to the floor, or whether it swirls around the head or even stays resting on the hand. That's not up to us. We simply soften the grip of our expectation and observe in great intrigue and openness what happens next. As we loosen this metaphorical grip on our careers, our relationships, life in general, we can shift our quality, our state of being, into a state of courageous love and radical acceptance. This doesn't mean becoming a doormat to how that energy acts and reacts. There are such things as boundaries, and if you open your grip, if you open your hand and soften your body and you don't like how you feel, you can maneuver your whole body away from the situation and go interact with something else with that softness. But it means holding whatever arises in this state of unconditional, moment-to-moment, courageous acceptance and presence. It's resisting nothing. That is the act of surrender, resisting nothing, but flowing and responding to everything in honest movement, in honest embodiment to its effect on our unique nervous system. Again, there is a response to this, a soft response, but a response. Feminine energy means being in the heart, and the heart holds the energy of love, a love that exists beyond our wildest imagination, and a love, in my opinion, that can alchemize and transform whatever it's around. It's letting ourselves truly feel something all the way. It's letting emotions flow fully with and through the body, and listening and being with and holding those emotions in reverence. Rage, joy, fear, grief, lusciousness. So moving in relationship with whatever arises and resisting nothing, you start to become the follow. You start to become the feminine energy in response to masculine energy of direction. surrendering to all of it, light and dark, being present in motion. Lastly, surrender is softening our need to make something specific happen. And again, this flows a little bit into that analogy of holding something with the hand and gripping it. But think of it in terms of future. Something needs to happen for me to feel blank. How can you want something but want it lightly? So having desire, but not being so clingy and grabby with that desire. An inquiry here could be, if you never received the thing that you desire, could you still find peace? If you never got that job, if you never got that relationship, if you never got the car you wanted, could you still find peace? That is surrender. It is knowing that you choose internal peace no matter your external circumstances. In my opinion, it's also freedom. So I always like to compare this energy with the example of dating. Let's say that you're dating to be married and you're on a first date and it's going really well. You're really enjoying this person and you could see them as a potential spouse. And so your mind jumps there right away and you really want to be married. So you start projecting this energy onto them of like, you're my future spouse, and you start being really pushy with your energy rather than leaned back and open. That pushiness can be very, very repelling. It becomes kind of sticky and you start seeing that person as something that you need versus just them as they are. The same energy can be applied to desires of any kind. If you desire a certain job position and you go there with the energy to the interview with the energy of like thirst and neediness and I need this to be happy and really trying to force something to happen, I think we can all intuitively feel that that's a repelling energy. It's different than walking into this interview with this space, this quality of I'm an awesome fit for this. And if I get it, great. You're lucky, I'm lucky. And if I don't, there's something better out there for me. That's a magnetic energy. You want the position, but you don't need it. And this is surrendering our desires. You desire something, but you're still choosing the embodiment of peace no matter what. It's trusting that the thing you want will happen, or if not, something even better. And that's a core belief of relationship to the universe, of surrendering to the universe. It's knowing that often the thing that gives us the most satisfaction is beyond our logical comprehension. I think we can all come up with an example of, wow, how did this unfold in my life? It was by magic. There are so many things waiting for each of us that are beyond our conscious control or planning. And often the things that we desire, we get them. It feels good for a small amount of time and then we're on to the next thing. But what we truly want in our heart of hearts is a sense of peace and alignment and ease and love, which can be attained now. And then the external environment, the external circumstances come in response to that. So we often desire certain things because we think we will feel a certain way once we have them. You know, we might desire a new outfit or a facial treatment so that we will feel more beautiful. Or we might desire to live in a gorgeous new home so that we will feel the energy of luxury. Or perhaps you desire a new career, starting your own business because you want to feel a sense of purpose once you step into that position. To surrender is to just decide that you will cultivate the feeling of what you want regardless of how the external environment unfolds or pans out. So deciding that you will feel beautiful, luxurious, and purposeful starting now. and you surrender the external conditions and how they will unfold in relationship to it. Feminine energy starts in the body. It is an embodiment, and everything is attracted to it based off of that embodiment. So you start with the embodiment, you surrender the specific desire, and deeply trust that your life will unfold from an inside-out perspective. Feminine energy is in this moment. It's actually not planning. It's not linear at all. It's letting go of a path that makes sense and having great awe for synchronicity and things that don't make sense. It's going to be really nerve-wracking. I get it. Especially, I know many of you who are watching this video are high achievers, high performers, workaholics, and have planned your whole life to be where you're at. And it's brought you great success. I mean, the masculine energy of linear planning and strategizing and gripping and holding is a sacred energy. Like, that's an important energy. But there's a dance between the two. There is trying, and then there's letting go of that trying. There is activating, and then there is releasing. There is directing, and then there is following that direction. And every single one of us holds a different combination of that energy in our system. Some of us feel more in the essence of feminine energy, but we've lived our whole lives in masculine energy. So surrendering feels scary and foreign and different, and like there's no way that anything could happen from that. But there are so many gifts that comes when we let life unfold for us. I promise beautiful people that there is a life that is waiting for you, that is beyond your wildest imagination, that feels so good, that comes from the inside out, that feels resonant and in alignment with you. So decide how you want to be now, today, and let go of your perceived idea of how it's going to happen or even what specifically you want. And just let yourself be moved, to be danced in the most exquisite, life-giving dance that you could ever imagine. So, to surrender is to relinquish position or control of something. It's loosening your grip. It's letting it go. It's not trying to implement your sense of direction into it. It is courageously accepting and loving whatever is in front of you for exactly what it or the person is. To surrender is to give up. It's to let go. It's to let be. Whether it's a circumstance, whether it's a person, whether it's a desired outcome, whether it's a need for a specific experience. It's literally giving up and saying, you know what? I decide to feel how I want to feel now. And I know that everything will fall into place because of that. If you want support in your life, in your experience, and even this inquiry, I would love to work with you. Typically, I've been offering only 6-month intensives, but I've just opened up a new package deal where you get 3 coaching sessions with me for a summer special deal. So I will link that below. I'm calling it the exploratory coaching package. And I love working one-on-one with clients. You know, I think it's at this stage in my career, and I'm a human design projector, so I do really well one-on-one. I get so much from tapping into everyone's unique energy. Really, this work is, we all have nervous systems, but our nervous systems respond to different things in different ways. And I really use my sense of intuition to offer customized guidance to each and every one of you. So if you're interested in that, again, I'll link it below. I'd love to meet you, to work with you. I'd love to hear from you. So if you enjoyed this video, you can leave me a comment. Again, give it a like. And thank you for helping me reach 1,000 subscribers and for being here and tuning in and listening and being interested in how to care for yourself and to care for your nervous system. I'll see you in the next video.